Hi, welcome to another episode of Highly Unqualified. This is the post where I rattle on about something I really shouldn't rattle on in an effort to quit preaching on a live on the TikTok, which, by the way, that hasn't really abated, so all this has done is spread my obnoxiousness across multiple platforms. Oh well. Today is going to be kind of short. I'm going to talk about love, of which I'm probably highly unqualified to speak of, but specifically about this saying that you guys have probably heard on and off throughout your whole life. I certainly did because I was raised in a church, about approaching people with love in your heart. I used to think that that meant being a pushover, or like you couldn't ever be angry or upset at somebody, or you couldn't ever just get mad because somebody did something rotten to you, or all this other kind of stuff along that line. And I'm a grudge keeper, and I was like, well, I guess this one just isn't for me because I don't think I can do it. But I have recently had an epiphany about maybe what that meant more than that. Like, I'm going to be a pushover. Because I've seen people operate in real life and online and stuff, and in a very defensive, aggressive, bombastic manner. And I always want to be able to tell these people, because some of these people I really like and admire, but I'm like, holy crap, if you lead with your chin about everything, one, you're going to be exhausted, and two, you don't constantly always have to fight the fight. You can just be the bee. You know what I mean? It's sort of like learning what it means to testify, right? If you were raised in a church, it's always give your testimony. And I know some people think that means you have to speak about your faith constantly and things, but that's not what that means either. That just means live your life in a manner that if people observe you, you are a living testimony to what your faith and your morals and your stance and everything, like they can see by your example. So lead a good life so you can lead by example. Well, that love thing kind of works like that too. If you approach people, again, with sort of benign intention, which I've spoken to before, like don't assume that they're coming at you or pinwheeling at you, you will have an easier time. But that approach with love is maybe to tailor your response to the people that are aggressively coming at you, and just don't give them what they expect, which is fight, right? Because sometimes people will come at you to give themselves an occupation, to feel like they're achieving something if they make you go into combat about whatever you're speaking about. And if you just don't give into that, sometimes it's very disarming for them and they're left with nothing. Like if somebody is criticizing your lifestyle or your choices of how you're conducting yourself, and you're not hurting anybody, you know what I mean? Like it's your own business kind of stuff. If you counter their aggression with a question on why they're approaching you with that attitude, and not aggressively questioning them, but like, it's interesting that you're leaving me this comment. Does my lifestyle disturb you? Or I appreciate that you took the time to leave this comment and you seem quite passionate. Do people that live different lifestyles than you feel frightening to you? So if you can lead with that, I would say that that's kind of leading with love. It's not even leading with kindness, but it's like, oh, little wounded, confused lamb, here's my approach to you. It can be disarming, plus sort of gratifying in the back end, because what are they going to leave you with? They could come back with something nasty, but then who looks like the confused person then? It's obviously it's them anyway, if they're leaving something caustic on a post that you've made in social media, but there are people in your real life that will constantly come up and challenge you about everything. But if you can train yourself to approach them with it's interesting you feel that way and feel the need to tell me about that. Could you explain to me why? And they'll usually get tired because they don't want to explain to you why. Usually it's because they're just being a jerk. But occasionally you might get a disclosure where you get to hear the backstory of why they feel a certain way. It's usually because they're traumatized in some way. Sometimes you might get more of a story than you bargained for. But to me, that's what I've amended my belief with what that saying is: approach everyone with love. Is this not to lead with your chin, not to leave in an aggressive manner, and just assume the softest position that you can with a person, because it'll get you a lot further. Okay, that ends the stupid sermon today, and it sounds like I probably babbled. You know why? Because I probably babbled. Anyway, thanks for listening. Bye.